This is the book of Psalm chapter 10 and verse 17. Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress. Psalm chapter 10 verse 17 and 18. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rcha Kodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so brother Haran coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting onto the elect. All right, and just wanted to go into this article really quickly. All right, once again, all right, today is the 17th, all right, 17th of June, okay, 2023. It's hard to even believe that, right, that we're pretty much halfway through the halfway point of the so-called year, okay, and as is coined, all right, by the elder apostle Tahar, all right, that this year be the hopeful year where all the prophecies, all right, be fulfilled. Okay, now we understand, all right, for those who watch our videos and are in tune with what's going on in terms of prophecy, all right, we understand that there's a major crisis that's coming down the pike very, very soon. All right, and that's what's going to lead, like the Lord said, all right, that these are the beginning of sorrows, right? And we're going into what the time of Jacob's trouble, evil times, and so on and so forth, that all the prophets of old did see and talked about. Okay, the book of Ezra, all right, second Ezra talks about the pain and calamities of these days. All right, these last days, you know, you couple things like food shortages, all right, health crises, okay, race wars, you know, gender wars, all kinds of different dumb shit, Egyptian against Egyptian, all right, all these different things. All right, it's all brewing, but at the end of the day, you got to understand that that's something that's being caused as a form of a distraction, all right, to bring about some form of chaos so that these devils could come in and bring their solution, hence giving them the power. Okay, and they've mapped it all out, which we're going to go through really quickly, all right, to show you that they're not playing. Okay, I believe it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I was reading something that said that Bill Gates, all right, was meeting with Xi Jinping. All right, I believe that was yesterday, the Friday, the 16th. All right, to discuss certain, you know, things. Let's just say that, right? And it's interesting because why is Bill Gates, you know, giving $50 million, all right, over to China to discuss certain things? You know, the same very place, all right, that this same clown ass nigga, Bill Gates, all right, you know, funded a form of disease outbreak. Okay, Gavi, all right, we know about that. Okay, the Melinda and Gates Foundation, we know about that. Okay, and who's the biggest funder of the WHO? Of course, exactly, Bill Gates. So he plays a very, very key role, all right, in this all this madness that's going on. And plus, he's already told the world that get ready because the next one is going to be, that one is going to get their attention, right? So whatever the next one is going to be, they're preparing for it. So let's get right into it. It says, the WHO body calls for simulation to prep for next global health crisis. As 194 nations continue to work through drafts of endemic agreements that would grant more authority to the WHO, the Global Preparedness Monitoring Board, which is known as GPMB, a body convened by the Whodat, has called for a worldwide endemic simulation to be carried out by the end of this year to test the effectiveness of the new terms before member nations sign them in 2024. Right? We feel very strongly that we cannot wait for the next emergency to find out how well the endemic accord and the IHR amendments will work. We need to know now. Joy Fumafi, co-chair of the GPMB, stated on May 22nd. Quote, we therefore suggest that member states, together with other key stakeholders, carry out a simulation exercise based on the draft accord and draft IHR, which is International Health Regulations amendments, later this year before they are finalized and adopted. Whoa. Whoa. So they're going to do another simulation just like they did back in 2019. I believe it was October of 2019. Something known as Event 201. And again, this is all public information. 2-3 years ago, when we were saying these things, that's now public information. It was conspiracy theory, right? So we don't really care too much about what people say about the information we're bringing out, because we are bringing it out because it's happening. Whether you believe it or not, it doesn't make a difference. It's happening. And guess what? For those who don't care, those who don't believe what we're saying, you do realize that there's a prophecy that says that all the unbelievers shall take part in the lake of what? In the lake of fire, right? All the unbelievers. So if you don't believe what we're saying, we're telling you the future judgments, the future prophecies, and you say, oh, I don't believe it. Guess what? We can tell you where you're going to end up when it's all said and done. You call yourself an unbeliever. Scripture says this is what's going to happen to unbelievers. What do you think is going to happen to you? Like these people, man. Oh boy. You just got to get ready. If you're here in America, forget about it. Your constitution is not going to save you. All right. Nothing is going to save you, man. If you're not in the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, all right, you want to be in the spirit of Jesus Christ and think you got it. Well, get ready, because Bill Gates is going to show you something. All right. The Whodat, they're going to show you something. Okay. It says international negotiations to centralize. That's the key word. Centralize. You don't want that, but they want that, right? They want that. So let's listen. It says international negotiations to centralize demic-related action within the Whodat have been ongoing throughout this spring. They include a quote zero draft end quote Whodat demic accord and amendments to international health regulations, as well as discussions among various Whodat subcommittees, UN organizations, and finance arms like the World Bank. Now it makes you question, what the hell does the World Bank have to do with diseases? Well, those two shouldn't even be in the same breath or sentence. Why is the World Bank working together with the World Health Organization? That doesn't make sense, right? That's like somebody who plays basketball all of a sudden goes and he's a pastor. He's teaching. Like, those are two different worlds. The banking world and the health, what they call health, which we all know it's all BS, pseudo health, right? Because now we know that what they call things that are healthy and safe is the opposite. So we shouldn't call it health, right? It's really hell, not health, right? But it's interesting that these two are coming together, and it's not just these two. As we read down, all right, we're gonna pick out certain things that, or certain agencies, or what they call bodies, right? Committees and so on and so forth, that are all joining together from different sectors. And it makes you wonder, why the hell are these people all working together all of a sudden, right? Let's see. It says, the current round of negotiations on the Demic Accord and IHR amendments have gone on behind closed doors in Geneva. Geneva is in Switzerland. Okay? Geneva is in Switzerland. Now, that's the same place, right, that has all the whatchamacallit, the satanic, all right, groups that come together to come up with their plans, and then those plans are passed down through the media and the policy makers. Then it becomes law and so on and so they come up with these things in Geneva. Okay, you got the CERN, which is in Geneva. You got Whodat, their headquarters is in Geneva, I believe, right? And what else? There's a couple of other agencies that are all around that Geneva area, in Geneva, I should say. Okay. And there's something very interesting about Geneva. Lord willing, the spirit hits, I'll go deeper into it, but it ties in with the prophecy. Let me get that real quick. Not a prophecy, but what Yahushua talked about with Satan's seat. okay, where Antipas was martyred. All right, it says Satan's seat. Let's see if I can get that real quick. Right, there's a book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 13. It says, I know thy works and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is, and thou holdest fast my name, and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, where Satan dwelleth. All right, but that Satan's seat, okay, is actually, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's referring to Geneva. Okay, and Lord willing, I'll go into it, shed more light on that, and it'll make more sense as to why I say what I say. Okay, but anyway, let's keep going. It says, and the reason why I say that is the key word is Satan. The key phrase is Satan's seat. Okay, these devils have a specific place on the earth where that's where they commune. All right, and come up with all those satanic plans and agendas. Okay, it says, behind closed doors in Geneva, but statements from some of the ancillary groups like the GPMB may shed light on the tone of the discussions. But you notice it says they're doing it behind closed doors, right? They're doing it behind closed doors. What does that mean? That means it's in secret. They don't want anyone to know about it. Fumafi said that the GPMB's manifesto for preparedness includes 3 tests for the treaty and IHR amendments. These are whether the treaty and IHR amendments are, quote, sufficiently powerful, end quote, whether they deliver equity and coherence, and whether they have robust mechanisms for monitoring and accountability. So let's break that down. What are they really trying to say here? Or what are they really saying? They said these are whether the treaty and IHR amendments are sufficiently powerful, meaning what? The military is going to be involved. Okay, when it comes to power and enforcing any type of rules, they'll be doing it with the military. So they're making sure, hey, we have the military power to do this. It's sufficiently powerful. Good. Whether they deliver equity and coherence. What does it mean by equity? It's not what you might think it is. Okay, I'm gonna get you the definition of equity really quickly. It's not what you think it is. Now, when you go into that word equity, right, the average person might think of it as, maybe everything is being fair, right? Impartial, right? But the word equity, when you actually go into it, simply means everybody becomes equal, right? In a sense of conformity, okay? When they use the word equity, it doesn't mean how people think of it as, everybody's being equal and everything is fair and impartial. It means more everyone is equal in the terms of same playing field conformity. You're conforming to the ways that we've set. Hence, the UBI comes into play. Okay, that would be the number one switch. All right, for equity, everybody's down, and this is where we at. This is what you get. This is what you get. This is what you get, and so on and so forth. Right? It says, and coherence, meaning what? Just again, compliance. Okay, compliance. It says, so you have conformity and you have compliance. Right? You conform and you comply, or you comply and then you conform. That's it. It says, and whether they have robust mechanisms for monitoring and accountability. Simply mean what? The technology, right? They started off with contact tracing and all that shit. That's what they mean by mechanisms for monitoring and accountability. One person might think, monitoring, meaning they're checking to make sure that everything is good. Accountability, they're making sure that everything that they set out to do is actually, they're going back and checking to make sure everything is running smoothly. No. Okay, monitoring and accountability is simply contact tracing. That's it, right? You're going to be accountable for what you do, what you say, and so on and so forth. We're holding you accountable. You are the one who holds the keys to life. We're holding you to it, that kind of thing. These people. So it says, continue. It says, Ambassador Pamela Hamamoto is currently negotiating terms of the Whodat endemic accord on behalf of the United States. Now, you notice they don't really put Jake out there. They're not going to grab no, Jake who's, in his right mind to join in with these things to say, you know what, I'm here to fight for my people, Israel and so on. They're not doing that. They're not going to include us. Everything is being done behind closed doors, right, by private companies, private entities. They're coming together with public, meaning the governments, and they're making decisions on how, any emergency. Again, they started off with using health, but it's not just about health. As we read on, you see, okay? It's just health is just the window that they need, because they can classify anything as dangerous to your health, and that's it. You're done. You see? So let's see. It says, while the language of the Accord and the IHR revisions is often opaque and bureaucratic, meaning what? It's not transparent. Okay? When something is opaque, it's an antonym for transparency, meaning you can't see, right? Meaning it's being done behind closed doors. It's a secret thing, right? Analysts say the ultimate goal of the reforms is to vest more demic authority within the Whodat and have this authority extend beyond demic emergencies. So could this really lead to the MOTB? You're damn right it is. Could this lead to the so-called NWO? You're damn right it is. Because we're already living in it. It's just about to be made manifest as in the reality of the prophecy being fulfilled. That's when you're going to start seeing people actually taking the implantable you-know-what. But the mindset is already there. The technology is already there. Okay? It says the trajectory is about centralizing power over health emergencies. David Bell, a public health physician and former Whodat staffer specializing in epidemic policy, told the Epoch Times, quote, "It was centralized authority within the Whodat, particularly in the Director General, which is Tedros now, right? And I don't see that changing anytime soon, but we'll see. We never know. They might put somebody worse in there, It says, and it will broaden the scope to what they call One Health. Okay? One Health. You know what that means? What they call One Health? That's that. If you remember, there was something that was going around called, I believe it was mostly in China that they were doing that shit. And they called it what? Quote, zero COVID. Right? Zero COVID, meaning everybody was on lockdown. If one person tested positive, everybody had to be on lockdown. Everybody had to get tested. Everybody got to go through the protocols again, right? They were quarantining people, towns and cities and so on and so forth, right? So that's what they mean by One Health, meaning one person messes up, it affects everybody else. We're all in this together. You see, that's that mindset. We're all in this together. It's for the greater good. Fuck out of here. You do everything in society to create division. Division is we're surrounded by division every day. Everything is categorized. Everything is divided. Men are being divided. Women are being divided. Children are being divided. Animals are being divided. Everything is being divided. But for all of a sudden now, we all got to come together. One Health. You categorize everybody. They do it to men. They do it to children, like I said, right? 50% of men go through this. 20% of men are this. 1% of men are that. So now you got a whole bunch of men, but you got all these made up categories within the men. And then you got women. 20% of women do this. 10% of women say this. 5% of women think this. Now you got a division among women. So now they identify themselves according to whatever category they fit in. And then they start competing against each other. Oh, I'm in this category. That means I'm better than this person. It's just mind games. Folly. And it's only made to deceive the simple. Okay? It says negotiations proceed in secret. Why is that? Let's get that real quick. This is why we always pray the prayers that we pray, because these devils, This is the book of Psalm chapter 64. Start off at 1. It says, a prayer for deliverance from secret enemies. Okay? And we know their plans and agendas that they're trying to push for is all wicked. It doesn't bode well for anyone at all. Right? It says, verse 1, Psalm 64 and 1, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O power. In my prayer, preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Right? And we know who our enemy is. They've made it very clear who they are and who they're coming after. Right? When you start seeing and hearing them coming against your faith, not what you do, right? But what you believe in and who you are, that becomes a problem. When they demonize us and call us anti-Semitic and hate groups because we tell the truth, then you make yourself a problem. That's a problem. See, you are our enemy at this point. Verse 2, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. So we know the Whodat, all right, the World Bank, the World Economic Forum, they don't have our best interests at heart. That's a fact, right? And they have a very wicked secret counsel, right? And that the Lord is going to destroy all that. Okay, the Lord will destroy all of that, right? We go into that word council. Okay, it says here an assembly, right? A company, right? A secret council, right? That's where you get the word, you get the concept of a conspiracy, right? Meaning what? To breathe together, right? To breathe in unison, meaning they're on one accord. The emergency accord, you know. Con meaning with, and spire, all right, going to spire, which means to breathe, all right, or to be in one breath, right? So when they all come together, right, they're under one understanding, one plan, one agenda, one chord, and they go on from there, right? So these things are all being done in secret. It says negotiations proceed in secret. In April, delegates from the United States agreed with a Chinese proposal. The new IHR drafts would not be shared with the public. I wonder why. It says Hamamoto stated that at this stage, quote, at this stage, I have some concerns about sharing the draft to all stakeholders given where we are in the process. I wonder why you have concerns. And it makes you wonder the nerve of these hoes, man. You have the nerve to go do some shit in secret for the world not to see, but you have concerns about it being public? We should be the ones to have concerns that you're doing something in secret, man. Not you. See? They always try to gaslight. But we see right through you devils, man. And you're not going nowhere. Right? Jacob has his hand on the heel of Esau. We're not letting go. You're not going nowhere. All right? It says, in response, several non-profit organizations and health experts wrote a letter to Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra and Secretary of State Antony Blinken protesting the secrecy of the negotiations. But what is going to come out of it? Nothing. It says, the attempt to create a veil of secrecy now surrounding the substantive and technical text-based negotiations on the Whodat Treaty sets a dangerous precedent for norm setting at the multilateral level, they wrote. It also undermines trust in the process at a time when attacks on the Whodat and on the Demic Accord are increasing. Yeah, because it's all evil and the people don't fucking want it. That's why. So don't try to pitch it like, oh, well, everything we're doing, people are attacking it. No, ain't no attacks. People just don't want what you're pushing on them. That is not an attack. All right? That is not an attack. So stop trying to flip words around to, push a certain perspective onto the reality that we're all facing here. Okay? The scriptures say what they say. You're not going to get away with this. You've been exposed. All right? And it's not even over yet. It's not even over yet. And the more you come against the scriptures and the more you come against the men of the Lord, the more you expose yourself as a devil that you really are. Right? Going back to that old story of Satan, the devil, having a problem with God and his angels, so they went to war and all that bullshit that they came up with. Well, that'll make more sense now. Right? That'll make more sense now because that's the prophecy that's about to happen. See? They have a problem with the men of the Lord, the Bible, so they make war against God and his saints, his people. Right? And then there's a war in heaven. Literally, these devils and their technology, they got the Space Force and everything. Yahushua is coming back with his angels to come deliver us from the tyranny that these devils are setting up on this earth. So guess what? The war takes place, as is written in the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter. Okay? The 7th verse. There's a war in heaven that takes place. Esau and his minions and his angels are brought down quickly. Right? Yahushua said what? I saw Satan fall from heaven as lightning. Right? Roughly paraphrasing. So it's going to be a quick strike down. Boom. Just like that. Within 1 hour, this place is finished. Okay? So if that's what you guys are talking about, again, that's a future prophecy. It's yet to happen. It hasn't happened yet. Okay? There was never a time where spiritual demon Satan came together with some wicked angels in heaven and they felt like they were going to rebel against God, and they fought a mighty battle, and Jesus and Michael, and they all fought. And God just got so fed up with them. So he just said, you know what, Satan and your angels, I'm going to cast you into the earth. Go stay in earth and go do all the wickedness shit over there. And that's why earth is so sinful. The fuck out of here, bro. We don't hear that shit. There's physically people on this earth that all they want to push is satanic wicked agendas. You mean to tell me that they're not the devil? Huh? You mean to tell me that they're not the devil? Come on, bro. Come on. And that's why it's important to know and understand what words mean, because the devil simply means a false accuser. All right? A slanderer, a deceiver. Okay? And then if you go into that word Satan, Satan simply means an adversary. Okay? So when you have people who are clearly adverse to everything the Bible says, and they do everything contrary to that, what does that make them? That makes them a devil. Okay? That makes them Satan. All right? That makes them Satan, man. That's why the scriptures talk about the devil and Satan were cast into the lake of fire, is because it's one title that fits one people, which are Esau, Edom. Okay? All they do is deceive. That will give them the devil title. They deceive. They're false accusers. They lie. And then they're adverse to everything that's righteous. That makes them Satan. No wonder they're all into Satanism. Okay? And we're going to keep exposing you devils, man. All right? As long as Yahweh Hashem Yahushua gives us the word and the go ahead, we're going to keep on pressing and firing on you devils. Period. And the book of Job, the 20th chapter, tells us that what? In the midst of in the fullness of your sufficiency. And right now we see you getting everything together. You have your whole band coming together. Now you about to start laying down the gauntlet. But guess what? We up for the battle too. So let's go. Okay, let's go. All right. So continuing, it says, the GPMB's manifesto for preparedness states that the success of these reforms will largely be dependent on the adoption of a coordinated One Health approach. You see? A coordinated One Health approach to PPPR that involves all countries, international and regional organizations, financial institutions, and the private sector. One Health approach. One Health approach. What does health have to do with financial institutions and shit like that? See? PPPR is the WHO or the Whodat acronym for Pandemic Prevention, Preparedness, and Response. Oh shit. It says, quote, One Health refers to the broadening of endemic response to potentially include things like farming, right? Poverty and climate change, which could either cause or exacerbate outbreaks or impair people's health in other ways. Very interesting. Farming, huh? Well, let's look at this real quick. It says World Economic Forum orders U.S. governments to forcibly seize farms by 2025 and burn millions of cattle. I thought there was some type of emergency going on that was affecting these animals. But it sounds here like there's actually orders that are going out saying we must kill our cattle to save the planet. You know, these devils, man. See? And that's a whole nother article. Lord willing, I could get into that another day. You know, but I just wanted to show you that these stuff is there. They're not just talking out their mouth. You know what I'm saying? These are agendas that they have, and it's playing out right in front of our very eyes. And they're giving you dates. They say, oh, by 2021, we should have this. By 2025, we should have this. By 2030, we should have this. It's all vain. It's vain, but it's prophecy nonetheless of who the wicked is. Okay? You think they're thinking about the return of our Lord in terms of, oh yeah, we're doing everything in our power so we can all be delivered? They're not thinking like that. Oh man. But yeah, you got people who have a problem with us exposing these devils, man. You should be happy that we're doing what we're doing. It says, quote, One Health is anything in the biosphere that affects human well-being in its current definition, Bell said. Current terms being negotiated, he said, would not only broaden the scope of the Whodat's mandate, but would also grant it authority to act when a endemic threat is perceived as opposed to an actual endemic emergency. Here we go. So now they're letting you know we don't need to actually have a endemic. If we perceive anything to be a threat, we can start bringing in these orders, right? Mandates. So let's read a little bit about this GPMB people, this Global Preparedness Monitoring Board people. It says the GPMB is an independent monitoring and accountability body to ensure preparedness for global health crisis. Convened by the Director General of the Whodat and President of the World Bank, the GPMB is comprised of globally recognized leaders from the World Economic Forum, see how it's all come together, and experts from a wide range of sectors, including global health, which again, these are people nobody voted for. Nobody knows who they are. They just pop up on the scene and they're just there telling you how to live your life, what is next to expect, and how they're going to do what they're going to do to make sure that they keep you safe. Who the fuck? It says, including global health, there's no such thing as global health. You have 7 different continents with all kinds of different people. You cannot group everybody in together and say we're going to have one health, global health. That is dangerous. And in order for them to do that, they're going to have to kill off a whole lot of people, because over almost 8 billion people on this planet Earth, you mean to tell me that everybody going to have one form of treatment? Nigga, there's mad diseases out there. You got people that got cancer, diabetes, fucking, you name it, they got it. Especially here in Babylon the Great. You can't even have one health for all of Americans. How much more the whole entire world? So this is a vain ideology. It will never happen. It doesn't exist. Right? It says veterinary epidemiology. So they're going to bring in the animals. Right? If you have pets, get ready. Right? It says environment. That's where the farms come in. That's where they're going to start putting all these so-called climate lockdown shit in there to make sure that your environmental use is limited. The amount of water you're using is limited. How many times you can go outside is limited. What kind of food you can eat is limited, right? All in the name of what? Carbon footprints and climate change and so on and so forth to save the planet, right? Green energy, all this bullshit. Solar, using electric vehicles, electric cars, electric stoves, no more barbecuing, don't leave your car idle, like stupid shit, all because they want to bring down they want to save the planet in the next 50 years. If we don't do these things in the next 50 years, we're going to see the earth get warmer by 0.00002% warmer. Oh God. Esau, man, boy, look at here. It says human rights, economics, law, gender, and development. All these things is coming together, right? It's all coming together underneath these Global Preparedness Monitoring Board people, right? It says it is tasked with providing an independent and comprehensive appraisal for policymakers and the world about progress towards increased preparedness and response capacity for disease outbreaks and other emergencies with health consequences, right? And we know what an appraisal is, all right? It's basically a set, amount, right? So they set the standard. They'll say, this is what we expect, and then everybody else has to make their policies around that, It says, in short, the work of the GPMB is to chart a roadmap for a safer world. And guess what? When we tie it all in and we read and see who these people are all working with, it doesn't bode well for humanity whatsoever. Okay? It doesn't bode well for humanity. It really doesn't bode well for those who have no idea what the hell is going on. Okay? Here it is. The MOTB is on its way. And these devils are doing everything in their power to make it happen. And you sitting here chilling talking about it's sin and it's an embargo and all this bullshit. Well, we could see them bring some type of CBDC, but listen, they're gonna bring it's in the works. They say it's starting next month. That's why they're doing all these bank shutdowns. I was telling my brother about this yesterday. You gotta pay attention to these banks, and where they're doing the branches closing down is where the chaos is gonna ensue the most. Okay? Because it's not going to be a one thing where it's just like boom and then all of a sudden all hell's breaking loose. No, it's a gradual thing. See, for us it's gradual. For the rest of the people, they don't notice the gradualism, so it just happens suddenly, right? Once it hits its climax. But for the most part, a lot of people are going to be bugging out because of shortages. That's the main thing. You know, when the banks are closing branches around you and making it inconvenient for you to go to your regular bank to get your cash or whatever, everything is being processed digitally. That will deter you from driving maybe to a different town just to go use a bank, right? Like, yo, there's a bank branch right here that just got closed down. Now I got to drive all the way maybe 30 minutes or maybe an hour out every time just to go use the bank. That's too much. So that's going to deter people from going the extra mile just to go have some type of physical banking interaction. They're trying to deter that, you know? So in the next coming months, I do see a lot of banks, branches, that is, not just bank closures where, you know, you have the whole bank run stuff, but it's gonna be more branches closing, you know, in key states, right? In the inner cities and so on and so forth, just to start the formulation of people relying more or depending more just for convenience on the digital way of doing things. And then, you know, in the next 3 to 6 months, hey, we'll see how the Lord is going to transition that, right? Because they're saying that the accord, all right, the Whodat accord shit, whatever, 194 countries have signed off on it, including the United States. That shit is supposed to be completely officially signed off in the spring of next year, so-called, right? 2024 is what they're saying. So that gives us a window from now till the end of this year, which is what, the next 6 months. That's a lot of time for a lot of things to happen. You see, for all we know, we could see this country living in a completely different world, right? And I wouldn't be surprised. You've had 6 months of not too much going on. Enough has happened, but not too crazy, right? If you want to consider what we've gone through the past 2-3 years, this year, this past 6 months has been all right, right? No mandates. You know, if anything, they were taking the mandates away. See, but now with all this the stuff that they got going on, we'll see. You see, right? So let's continue in Psalm 64 and verse 3. It says, "Who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words." And that's the propaganda. Okay, that's the lies and the deception that they put in the media. Okay, to whet your tongue, right? It means to sharpen your tongue, right? Because that's how you whet a sword. You know, you put water on it and then you glide it on a piece of rock or something to sharpen it up, right? To sharpen something means to whet it, right? WHET, right? It says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not, right? And that's going into what? The secret councils, their secret meetings that they do, you know, and every time they come from those secret meetings, crazy shit starts happening to a lot of crazy things, crazy people, right? It says they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? That's why they do things in secret. You know, they actually believe that. Oh, ain't nobody gonna see us. Oh, we're here. This is high level stuff. Sign this agreement so we make sure nobody talks about this, right? We have a NDA Act. You know, you can't, as a non-disclosure agreement, you can't say anything about this. And, you know, we make you sign it for 100 years. You can't say nothing for 100 years. You know, everything you're seeing here, you can't talk about it. You know, this and that. Esau's a devil, man. But guess what? We're not in your secret councils, but yet we know all your secrets and we tell all your secrets. And there's nothing you can do about it because we ain't take no oath with you, right? The only way they can kill you is if you take an oath and you break the oath. Then they have the right to come get you. Because at that point, there's no, you know, you agreed to do something and you broke it. They have every right to come after you, right? According to the natural laws, they have every right to come after you. But once you don't take that oath, you're a sovereign. It's hard for them to come after you. Even Esau, yes, he thinks like that. That is why they'll push information out there to prepare you before they actually do something. It's called predictive programming. Okay? Predictive programming. So they push the information out there and they tell you exactly what they're going to do. And then if you sit there, you allow them to do it, they have an excuse by telling you, well, guess what? We showed it to you before and you did nothing about it. You allowed us to do it. You were consented. You were told about it. You were warned about it. And you still allowed us to do it. That's on you. That is on you. Okay? It's called revelation of the method. Okay? So we understand that. We understand everything that these devils are doing. Let's get that real quick and we're going to close it out. This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Right? So your subversion tactics, your coercion tactics, right? Your deviation tactics, your propaganda, right? All the BS that you devils like to do, we onto you. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we are onto you, and our job is to expose you devils completely. Just come in there and just open the gates and the doors, boom, everything, just knock the door off the hinges and everything, knock it all off. And everybody who's around who can see it, let them all see. So they can give a response and say, is this the man that weakeneth the nations? Him? These devils? Yes, these devils. And they ain't shit. All right? They ain't shit. Don't fear them. They ain't shit. Okay? There you go. Anyway, I'm going to leave it off there. Lord willing, you were edified. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash, the water Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. And until next time, Shalom.